Welcome to an Inside the Red Raider special report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and the Matador Club Name, Image, Likeness Collective announced some pretty exciting news for Texas Tech Athletics. And this is independent of Texas Tech Athletics, but for the players, the athletes, here on Monday. And this was something that's been in the works for months and months and months. I know I knew of it at least by February when the actual Matador Club was announced, but it no doubt had been in the works before that. But I had heard these details about this NIL deal for the players that had been in the works, and it was one of those things where a couple of people that are in the know and involved in this told me basically this is the plan. This is what we're trying to raise, what we're trying to do for the players, and but we don't want it out there yet. And then I heard just a couple of weeks ago and mentioned, I don't know if it was a mailbag or chat or whatever, but a couple of things within the last month that this was going to happen, this summer, and that it was going to be big news, and that it was going to be probably the best in the conference and among the best in the country. And so here are some of the details of this deal. I think if you're watching this, you're probably already aware, but they signed contracts with 100 football players, the 85 scholarship, and 15 walk-ons, which I really like, the walk-on part, for $25,000 for the year, and that's going to be paid out monthly. They signed contracts on Monday, is a done deal. Cody Campbell, who's spearheading it, with some other people, but Cody Campbell is a figurehead with this. Was really one of the main figures who put this together and raised money from Texas Tech alumni for this, to do this. But some of the details. So yes, $25,000 for every player. And it's the same whether it's the star quarterback, star running back, or the walk-on long snapper for the year. And what I really like about it is, like, this is not the cap. It's not like this is the only money these guys are going to earn. So everybody starts out though and is being taken care of, but it's not like they're crushing free market, open market value for these players. If I'm just saying hypothetically, if River Outfitter wants to pay Tyler Shuck, I'm just throwing names out there. I'm not saying this is a done deal. I'm just using a hypothetical. To represent their brand, then they can still do that. They can still make those deals, or car dealerships, or whatever you want to come up with. And they do. Some of these guys do have other NIL deals on top of this, but this is a base thing that the Texas Tech alumni through the Matador Club is doing in order to take care of the players, and it's evenly. And there's a couple other things I like about it. Another part of the contract between the club and the players is that the players will perform a certain amount of community service in West Texas as part of the deal. So I really like that too. I like that, again, it's the whole team getting this deal. I've seen some weird criticism, like, the Tech shouldn't announce this, which I find weird because like I said, this has been planned for months. They've vetted it. They've gone through, okay, what is this going to mean in terms of taxes for these players? And of course, Joey McGuire at Big 12 Media Day said, look, we're really trying to educate these players about the tax implications of NIL, and be careful who you get into business with, go into business with, and all of that. So while the NIL stuff is independent from the program, Texas Tech, the university, the athletic program, is educating these guys about it. So hopefully they're paying attention, and they will do what they need to do in terms of making sure Uncle Sam gets his cut. And then another thing is that $25,000 is not really that much money. I mean, as a baseline, yes. I mean, I know there's several rich college kids out there, but man, pretty much myself and anybody in my circle who went to college, I mean, to think of $25,000 for a year to help with expenses, and that's on top of education and room and board and wardrobe and all kinds of things that the athletes are getting. I mean, nobody would turn that down. I mean, that is really neat. I mean, that's really going to help these players, their families, all those things. So, and I think perhaps it goes back to, is NIL a good thing or not? Well, to me, that's irrelevant in this conversation, because the NIL, it is. Whether you agree with it or not, it's here. So logically, you look at that and you say, okay, well, what can, if you're Texas Tech, if you're a Texas Tech alumni, what can we do to help? And I think, and to play in this space and be competitive, but not go overboard where you just have this war chest and you're just throwing money at big time recruits. I think this is the best possible way. I mean, I think the Matador, in my humble opinion, the Matador Club got it right with the way they're doing this. Again, it doesn't close off the individual players from going and getting more in NIL. It's fair across the board, from walk-on to star quarterback. Community service is tied into it. These are renewable. They're one-year contracts, but they are renewable for next season. Also, the plan is to also do the same with basketball and baseball. In terms of other sports, I know they want to, but I don't know if the money's going to be there or not. I mean, that's one of those things where you don't want to promise it if the money doesn't, isn't there. So, but I feel pretty confident in basketball and baseball. That's been the plan. Things have gone well in terms of fundraising for the Matador Club, and I think this kind of publicity is only going to help in that regard. So, I mean, to me, and again, I've had a long time to think about this, not just over the last 24 hours or however long it's been, to really ponder it. And the more I think about it, the better I feel about it. Because first I was like, oh, wow, but again, getting over that first hurdle, the NIL is here. That is a thing. And then the fact that it's, okay, they are given a base salary to the whole team, but these guys can still go get their fair market value. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. And it seems to me that, yes, it'll help with recruiting. Yes, somebody said it's a way around getting quality walk-ons on your team. That may be true. It also just helps the harmony of the team, but it doesn't stop, again, the fair market value for stars. So, to me, this is about as good of a scenario as you can come up with in this era, this Wild West era. There's been a big commitment, obviously, financially, to the Texas Tech football program with the facilities, just bringing in Joey McGuire. You look at the, obviously, the NIL deal. What it shows me is the Texas Tech alumni care, and the whole idea that you can't recruit to Texas Tech. Texas Tech is poor. There's not a lot of money backing the programs. That's all just been blown out of the water. And this is something I've been trying to scream from the mountaintops for years and years, that this Tech, I don't want to say sleeping giant, like they're ready to bring on Bama. I'm just saying, in terms of, this isn't a small university. This isn't a tepid fan base. This is a rabid fan base with a big alumni base, with some deep pockets, and it's coming to fruition now. I think a lot of it has to do with the hiring of Joey McGuire, to be honest, somebody that everybody could get behind. I think also you have to tip a cap to the players for the way they hung in there last year, got to a bowl game, won the bowl game, exercised the whole Mike Leach demon thing by crushing Mississippi State. I think they deserve a lot of the credit as well. So, in my opinion, the Matador Club got it right. It'll be interesting to track, just like everything else, with all these new things coming into college football and college sports. But at least on face value, this looks like the right way to go about it. And I'm happy for the players. I'm very proud of the fan base, Texas Tech fan base, and it'll be interesting to see what happens from this moment. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.